What's up, y'all? Back with another one. Like, share, subscribe. This one is gonna be a normal one. If you've seen my other video, you know I was ranting and cursing and what have you. I just had to get some things off my chest. But this is not gonna be that one. Um, Basically, what I want to talk about today is people are starting to flip on Kwame. He became the sensation. I guess you could say. Um, he became the sensation. What 3 months ago, and um, everybody was like praising him. It's like, oh, he's a breath of fresh air. I mean, I think there's started a new culture, and that new culture kind of started with Agent Orange. I think part of the reason why a lot of people voted for him and stood by him is because they wanted this unapologetic person, this one that tells it how it is or whatever. That makes people feel like you're more genuine, but not necessarily always in the case. And I'm not saying Kwame is not genuine, because as I mentioned in videos before, I mentioned that I'm with Kwame. I'm all for it. Only thing I say is that he spends too much time talking. Like his live stream, the only thing I ever criticize him on is the live streams are just too freaking long. And for people like me, I just don't have the patience for it. I don't have the time for it. I have a lot of things I have going on. Yes, I do videos, but if you notice, there are some times in between that I don't do videos. And I have my last semester coming up. Um, what is it? In 2 weeks now. I have my last semester coming up. So when that starts, I'm not going to be able to do it as often. I'm still going to do it, but I got other things to do, and I definitely won't have the time to be sitting through 2 hour long videos, especially when your message that you want to put out. Because he always likes to say, um, everybody wants to focus on the drama and the name calling, and they don't want to get to the message. But I mean, my answer to that is, why don't you just get to the message, and then people won't have to sit there and sift through everything else to get to the message. They won't have to rely on other people to look at your stuff and break it down into 15 minutes. you know um, but a lot of people are starting to turn on him. um, this one cat in particular, um, I'll say it. I'll say his name because I'm not. I don't really care about saying people's names at times. Only time I really won't say your name, and it's not even really hating, but the only time I won't say your name is when I feel like your page is already growing. I don't need to mention your name. I'm trying to grow my page. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna mention your name so you can keep on growing. You're already growing. You don't need my help. You know. So, but in certain cases, I will, mention people's names. Like I've mentioned Gravity Takeout sometimes. I mentioned Kwame but um, and I never knock them. Like there's things I agree with and things I don't agree with. Like you know, especially stances on the vaccination is just stupid. And if you just don't, I've expressed it more than once, but I stand to it that if you don't want to do it, you just don't want to do it, and there's no need to continuously talk about it, and there's no need for fake cries of rebelling against the government, because you're not going to do it. You don't rebel against the government when they're killing us in the streets. You don't rebel against the government when they owe us reparations. You don't rebel against the government when we don't have any kind of equity. We don't own houses. We don't own any property, and it's owed to us. because we don't put our blood, sweat, and tears. Our ancestors literally gave up blood, sweat, and tears. You don't rebel against the government for that, but you want to rebel against the government because you don't want to take a shot in your arm. I had to pause there because I want you to dwell on that a little bit. I want you to think about that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I know I keep saying I'm not going to talk about this, but it comes up so much, and it fuels me, and I just had to I had to voice my opinion and set the record straight, and try to get people's thought process. I'm not trying to steer you any kind of way, but at least get your thought process going. That to see that maybe some of the things you're thinking about is just making no sense. And somebody else brought a good point. That this mandatory stuff is not new. The only difference is that, as many people point out, it hasn't been approved by the FDA yet, right? But them same people have this distrust of the government, but the FDA is a government agency. So how does that even make sense? Like, let's think logically here. Mandatory vaccinations has not been, and I mentioned this in my other video too. When you enroll in school, in public school as a kid, you need to have vaccinations or you cannot be in that school. When you go to college, you have to have certain vaccinations or you cannot enroll in the school. Mandatory vaccinations is not a new thing. So why it wasn't a suppression of freedom in those cases, but it's a suppression of freedom now? And I guess because it goes to the factor of, well, if I want to dine in, I can't do it unless I'm vaccinated. If I want to go to the gym, I can't do it unless I'm vaccinated. There's other alternatives. That's the reason why they're able to inflict these and enforce these policies, is because there's other alternatives. It's not like you have to do these things. A gym is a luxury. Just like a cell phone is a luxury, a cable is a luxury. These are not needs. Dining in to a restaurant is a luxury. It's not a need. You know what I'm saying? It's not a need. So therefore, you can cry all you want. You still have choices. You can cook at home. You can go to Florida where they won't do these mandates. You can go to Florida, but hey, you taking a risk going to Florida because them rates is high out there. Because you have Ron DeSantis, who's a freaking idiot. He's just as stupid as Agent Orange, and he's a big Agent Orange supporter. So you have him out there making all these stupid decisions. But hey, if you like that, then go out there with Ron DeSantis. That's all. It's just. I mean, I started with Kwame, but I veered off in the vaccination because it irks me. Seeing if I didn't have to see it every day, I probably wouldn't even keep getting irked. Because I mean, on one side, I'm seeing, well, the vaccinated people seem like they're being bullies about it, whatever. But on the other side, which I see, because I'm seeing my time. I don't know what they're seeing. I don't know what they're encountering. So I'm not gonna really take away from their story. But from what I see, it's the anti-vaxxers who are constantly posting things, who are constantly sitting there and talking about how they don't want it. They're the ones. I don't see anybody who got vaccines posting every day about the vaccination. I don't see it. I don't see it. And somebody said the vaccinated are aggressive. I don't see that either. And if they are aggressive, it's probably because they're so sick of seeing these posts and hearing these things about anti-vaccines. It becomes annoying. So after a while, when you get annoyed and you get annoyed and you get annoyed and you get annoyed, you're gonna come to the conclusion that you pissed off now. You know, you're gonna come to that 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 action or whatever. I was looking for another word, but I can't think of it right now. Yeah. So you're gonna come to that point. So if they are being aggressive, it's only because of that. And and another argument is, well, you're vaccinated, you should be good, right? That's not the point. That's not the point, man. Because at the end of the day, yes, we can still get it. We can still spread it. But the vaccine helps the immune system against it. The point of the matter is, as long as there's a good population, yes, half the country is vaccinated. But guess what? There is, and don't quote me on this, but there is what, 250 million people in this country. So if half the population is vaccinated, that still means there's millions of people that's not vaccinated. So you having half the population vaccinated doesn't mean that you're not going to still have outbreaks. It doesn't mean that there shouldn't be a Delta variant. Once again, let's think logically here. Yes, half the population is vaccinated, but then the half the population of the country, it's spread out. It's spread out. There's certain areas that's more vaccinated than other areas. And then you have people traveling across the country at any given time. These are the scenarios you got to play out in your head. You can't sit there and say, well, half the population is vaccinated, so we should be all right, right? It doesn't work that freaking way. There's still millions that are not not vaccinated, and they're still spreading. And it's a myth that the ones spreading it are the ones that's vaccinated. That makes no freaking sense. So you telling me? I even saw somebody say, "Oh, the vaccinated are the ones spreading it, while the unvaccinated, their immune system is doing what it's supposed to be doing. So they're fighting against it without the jab." I mean, I can't. It's like I just try to come at a point where I'm not bashing you. I'm just trying to get you to think logically and think scientifically, not off of an opinion. And no, nobody's turning into zombies. But you know what? If I turn into a zombie, the first people I'm going to go after is some of y'all dumb motherfuckers. I'm going to sit there and chomp your head out, eat your brain. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go right for y'all. Since y'all so smart, I'm going to take the one thing that makes y'all smart. I'm going to eat y'all brain. I'm going to enjoy it. I have a nice old meal on all y'all dumb motherfuckers. But anyway, go back to Kwame, right? So you have this guy Hitchbox, who apparently was a Kwame fan or a Kwame follower at one point, and then he saw what he felt was red flags, and he turned. But then that's one thing. But then he went ahead and made videos clowning Kwame supporters. Now here's where it gets interesting, because I looked at the videos, and I seen it has more dislikes than it has likes. It has a fair amount of views, but it has more dislikes than it has likes. And I'm pretty sure all them dislikes come from the Kwame bunch. So that kind of makes it seem like, Kwame done developed this new little cult. You know what I'm saying? And nothing Kwame does is wrong. Now, once again, I'm not coming at Kwame. Let's get that right. Don't get it twisted. I'm not coming at Kwame. And as I said in another video, I hope he's really insincere. I really hope he's sincere and he's not a fraud. But um, some people are questioning things, especially the fact that he's having Angela Stanton King on his show, and I didn't even know who that was until today. Apparently, she's a MAGA supporter, and quite frankly, I can't take any black person seriously when they're a MAGA supporter. But I mean, and I haven't even seen the videos because I mean I don't watch everything from Kwame because, like I said, it's too freaking long. I don't have the time and the patience. So from what I've heard, he has bigged up Candace Owens too. That's a big no-no. But I don't knock you. You like who you like, and he explained why he liked Candace Owens, but it kind of veers off from that explanation. I kind of gotta sit there and look at things a different way when you give that explanation and makes sense. Okay, fine. But then you turn around, you have another MAGA supporter on there, and then some other guy, I can't remember the dude's name, but he's a MAGA supporter too. Both all black. Now your explanation of why you supported Candace Owens is negated now. Because now it makes me think, hey, you might be a little bit more on the conservative side here. And according to Hitchbox, um, Kwame hasn't done charity work since 2007. I believe it's 2007, but you can see it for yourself. Um, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'll still continue to support in the background. I don't I don't even know how to phrase it because I can't say I really support him because, like I said, I don't catch his live streams and I don't watch his whole videos. I don't, and I to be honest, I haven't seen a lot of them. And I go on the thing, I see the videos. I don't see a lot of them because I really don't have the time to look at them. I one thing I like about certain people, they get to the point and they get off. And that's what I like. That's what I try to do. I get to the point and I get off, and that's that. You know, you're not gonna see me with these 2 hour long videos and whatever. I don't have that much to talk about, and I'm not gonna sit here like I got food waiting for me. I'm gonna eat after I'm done. But I don't sit there like other people. I don't sit there like other people and eat while I'm doing the video. I don't know. I think that's so. I mean, this is not a news channel or anything like that. It's YouTube. But at the same time, when you have a following, you're doing this every single day. I think me personally, I'll take it seriously to the point where I feel like I'm working for a media station or something like that. And it just, I feel like it's just unprofessional when you're doing the video and I gotta watch you take a minute and sip your little water or whatever you have in your cup. I gotta watch you take a minute and put something in your mouth and as you're talking, you're and this and you know what? I don't want to hear you chomping, dude. I don't, and I don't see how people want to watch that. I really don't. You know, and I know I'm doing a video. Why am I starting the video? Why am I starting the video listening to music? I mean, is this? I don't know. I guess it gives you the vibe of a reality show or something. I don't know. Whatever. I just can't do it. It is what it is. Like, but and then others. don't know. It sounds like I'm bashing, but I don't know. I don't know. Like I just like to get to the point and get off. You know, some people take forever. Like they have like 2 minute pauses in between what they're saying. And I don't see how people watch that because me personally, once I'm seeing you pause too many times, I'm like, all right, I ain't gonna watch this. I might watch it later on. But yeah, yeah. So some people are saying that he's a fraud. They already came at him about the shoe drive, and he said he was gonna have 6,000 shoes and things like that, and it didn't look like 6,000 shoes. And he gets all these super chats. I mean, I don't know why you're watching the man's money, but he gets all these super chats, and yet he couldn't even come through with the 6,000 shoes. I mean, I don't agree with them, but at the same time, I feel like, especially if you're a millionaire, you shouldn't even be accepting the super chats. Me personally, I send them back. I'd be like, thank you for your support, but I don't need it. I don't need it. There are some genuine people out there, but like I said, I kind of like look at you side eyed when you say you're for the general public, and in your descriptions you have your Cash App and your PayPal. I look at you a little side eyed. Then I'm I'm sorry, but I have to look at you a little side eyed because I will show and prove that I am not here for your money. I will not put my Cash App and PayPal here. I got a job. Yeah, who couldn't use extra money? Everybody always needs extra money, but I'm not here for that. I really not. I'm taking time out of my day, regardless of how many views I get, how many subscribers I have. I'm taking time out of my day to just share points of view and share a little bit of knowledge with you and share what's going on and give you my perspective on what's going on. That's all I'm trying to do. And then I want to branch off into what I feel really needs to be talked about, and I hope that people stay on and want to listen. But I'm not gonna go the route of the controversy. Like I keep every time I put Tommy Sotomayor subject on my thing, this same guy or girl, whatever, I don't know who they are, the same person comes on here with some stupid rhetoric, keeps trolling me, and then talks about how, well, you're putting something out in the public, and if you can't take criticism, then you shouldn't put it out. Criticism? You're not even giving me criticism. You're sitting there telling me something about me when you don't know me, and that's what I'm addressing. You dumb fuck. Sorry, I went back. I went back into the other video mode. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But anyway. I can't with people like that, man. That's the only reason why you came on my video is because it had Tommy Sotomayor. You just look like a little Tommy Sotomayor groupie, and I got no time for little groupies. That's the thing. You always want to follow somebody. Why everybody always want to follow somebody? They always want some kind of leader. They always want somebody that kicks the truth, keeps it 100. The only thing about that is they're kicking your truth. They're kicking something that you already resonate with. They're kicking something that you already believe in. It's your truth. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth. Because this same person loves Agent Orange. Agent Orange ain't for no black people. But he might make some points that you feel is the truth because it's your truth. But the facts remain that you can go and look back on his history and see that there's racial undertones. You can go back on his history and see that his father was a racist. That's facts. It's documented. But you have some things here and there that, might have benefited the black community, maybe. And you feel like he's for the black community. No. A handful of blacks benefiting from some program doesn't mean that the person is for the black as a collective. That's the problem we have. We don't have enough standing as a collective. A few crumbs here and there, a few black billionaires and millionaires here and there doesn't mean that black people are thriving. It doesn't mean that we're so far ahead of the curve since the 1960s, or so far ahead of the curve since the 1860s, or before then. It doesn't mean that. It means there was some progress here, but we're still on the bottom of the totem pole. Collectively, we're on the bottom of the totem pole. A few people getting out, that doesn't mean anything when you have so many things set in place to keep us at the bottom of the totem pole. And it's documented. Do some research. There's been plenty of studies on it. The disparities between blacks and whites. Whites and Hispanics. It's been documented too many times. There's so many studies on it. So a handful that's able to break through the cracks, that doesn't mean anything. That's what you're not understanding. Owning your own business and going this way and going that way, and not wanting to have no parts of the government, you're still under the government rule. You're still under the government rule, the same government that and rightfully so. Don't get me wrong. You shouldn't trust the government at all, because they have been involved in all kinds of nefarious acts. They still have things that we don't know about because it's classified. Things that have come out that have been unclassified have verified our thoughts of the government. So I being leery of the government is warranted. Trust me, it is. But that doesn't mean that you need to run with every little conspiracy theory that comes along. Doesn't mean that just because somebody's able to articulate something that sounds good and it resonates with what you already think, it doesn't mean that they're so smart, and doesn't mean what they're saying is right. It doesn't mean that they're an expert. Just food for thought. I'm trying to get your thought process going. And that's all I'm really trying to do, is get your thought process. I'm not trying to steer you either way. What you think is what you think. What you believe is what you believe. But I'm trying to get your thought process, because that's how you grow. Because a lot of things I discuss now, and the things I'm discussing in my videos, I wouldn't have discussed it 10 years ago. But that's what happens when you grow. Going with a narrative that fits what you already think is not growing. You're just going. You already have a thought in your head, and you Google something, and then the first thing that pops up that fits what you already think, you say, aha. But that's not aha. That's not research. Research is doing an extensive search for different information, and also, while looking to support your narrative, you also look for other things that are arguments against your narrative, so you can see both points, and then you can come to a conclusion based off of both points. instead of just that one. That's how that works. But for the most part, let's stop with the thoughts of zombies and microchips. Until you have something definitive to talk about, other than some crackpot scientist, somebody who gets on TikTok or YouTube and claims they have all kinds of certifications and degrees in this and degrees in that. You know, you know, get vetted people, man, vetted people. And of course, a lot of people are not gonna they're not gonna sit there and post their degrees and things like that. But there's some people that can be vetted. Some person posting some video on TikTok or YouTube, I'm not gonna really take serious unless you sit there and show them credentials. Like if you want me to show the credentials of the bachelors, and then when I get the master, you want to show I can gladly show you them. You know, I shouldn't have to prove that to you, but I can. The point I'm getting to is if these people are vetted, then they would be able to show their credentials. You can backtrack them and do a background check and find out who they really are. I mean, because anybody could say anything. I could sit here and tell you I'm a millionaire, and I'm gonna make you a millionaire. And if I articulate it good enough and I have a good enough audience, y'all sit there and believe me too. Just like a lot of people think Boyce Watkins will sit there and teach them how to have financial independence. But anyway, like, share, subscribe if you like my content. Just try to do better, and please, if anything you want to engage with me on, if you want to give me real constructive criticism, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. If you have an idea of certain subjects that you think I should discuss, if I to branch me onto what I really want to do, then I welcome that. I please, I say this a lot, and I say it because I see likes, I see views, but then nobody comments and things like that. So that's why I say it. And like, don't be scared to comment, even if you don't agree with me. If it's constructive, and you're not coming at me talking about, well, you ain't doing this because this and that, and you telling me things that you don't know about me, then I'm gonna come at you a certain way. But if it's really constructive criticism, saying, hey, I noticed this and this and that, blah 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 blah, maybe you can try this route, that then I can deal with that. So if you feel up to engaging with me, I invite it, please. You know, I don't, I don't want to sound like I'm begging, but I'm saying please, please. That's all. That's all I gotta say right now. I kind of went over, but you know how it goes. All right, peace.